Welcome back to another episode of the Miracle Marketing Podcast, where we bring you interviews from business owners, celebrity guests, and hot topics. I am your host, Brandon Adams, along with my co-host, super producer, Big Perry. Big Perry. I'm welcome to have you back, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be back, man. How you been doing?
I've been good. How's everything out in the ATL?
Oh man, it's pretty good. It's sunny right now, but I think we're gonna get some more rain. It's been pretty rainy for the past week.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, we over 100 here in Vegas, so we heating up. Yep. So on today's show, we have a very special guest. I am proud to have this young lady on. She's doing some big things. She has one of the hottest movies out. If you're a Tubi fan like I am, is streaming. She's the co-writer of this movie and also the lead actress. And we want to welcome to the show Miss Lanett Tachel. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, hey, what a welcome. Thank you. And I'm doing great. I'm glad it's not 100 degrees currently inside of where I am, but I felt that heat yesterday. So, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Blessed.
Well, I am happy to have you on the show, and we're going to get right into it and talk about this hot new movie that you are the co-writer, producer, and the lead actress in. It's called Angie's Cure. If you have not seen this movie yet, make sure you go check it out. It has an all-star cast, and she is doing her thing and kicking butts and taking names in this movie. So,
Um,
so tell us, how did the fighting scenes come about? And are you a fighter? Are you a boxer? Are you what's going on? Tell
you
us
know
a little
what?
bit about that.
I'm so glad you actually brought that up. I'm not a fighter. I mean, I'm a fighter in life, but no, I'm not a I'm not a trained fighter or a boxer. But one thing that we did make sure we did for the fighting scenes to be able to sell them off as believable is we did have a stunt choreographer.
Okay.
And I want to bring up, let me see, I want to make sure I say his last name, but his name is Billy.
Okay.
And Billy, I think our film was one of the last films that he actually did before we unfortunately lost him.
Sorry
Unrelated,
to hear that.
but it's a really special. That's why it's so interesting that you actually brought that up because yeah, he took a lot of care. I'm actually going to post something pretty soon with him in a clip of him teaching me hands-on. And it was a really, really special moment in the process for me because I knew that Angie's a fighter and I didn't want somebody to step in and in that point where she is, where she's showing off these skills, rage, all of it. We wanted it to be authentic. And so it was very carefully executed when we practiced at, half speed and then at full out and then worked with another stunt double for for the other character for Sean and yeah, so I did train. I did train for it. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I did and I'm really happy with how it came out and it's really important to not just kind of throw something like that in the middle of the movie without being prepared because you can get hurt or
Mhm.
maybe hurt somebody. And I've seen that happen. So
So how did the training go? Was it very intense? Was it several days, weeks of training?
days,
Days?
days. And not even it's because I mean, with stunts, you're not actually hitting. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things where learning how to sell it, using the emotion that you have in the character to lead you into what the sequence is, and
Mhm.
then knowing exactly kind of where to hit, where to execute so that nobody's hurt. So it wasn't that I needed to do a lot of, intense physical training. It was more about knowing how to execute the scene that I did and keep it safe, if
Right.
that makes sense. So yeah, more of that type of training.
Okay. What about the weapons training? Did you already know how to use weapons? Because, or was that something that you
You're
already
making me feel so good right now. Like, oh, great. I'm glad that it sold.
I told you I watched the movie, it was good.
I mean, I wasn't super trained with weapons, no, but I mean, I've gone to a gun range before and done that, but never with what I was holding in Angie's Cure.
Okay.
So it's another thing. We did have somebody that was on set. Actually, one of the characters, Michael Patron, who
Mhm.
plays the cop against Essence's character, not the first cop, but the second cop that's with her. he is also he deals with weapons and tactical training and things like that. So he was able to help not only myself, but Essence's character and everybody that was handling weapons. So that was great because, with police and with me and my character, you definitely don't want to not know how to hold a weapon because that's the first thing the audience will do. The audience will get you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I was going through I'm the Bomb, and let me clear that up. The IMDb, I call that the bomb when it shows how much you've been doing in the
Never
industry.
heard that. Okay.
Yeah, on the Bomb. Yeah, I mean you are. I mean since I think the 2012.
Man. Oh, since what, starting?
Yeah,
Maybe. Geez, yeah,
uh,
maybe. That sounds about right. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
at least for on screen. Oh, that's my little Pekingese yelling at me to get out. I just walked you. Yeah, with on screen credits, probably like around 2012, really. And then even all my life in theater.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How easy is it? Well, I'm not gonna say easy. How hard is it to prepare for new roles, even for the stuff that you write? How hard is it with your everyday life getting
Ooh.
prepared for a film?
Whew. For as an actor, it's
Yes.
definitely as soon as I can make a connection to that character, and as soon as I can understand the pieces of me that I'm able to infuse, and then the pieces that might not necessarily be me, but I can understand and I can defend or even begin to understand. It's kind of like just understanding human behavior. It's like when people do things and the initial action is, the reaction is why, or maybe even frustration. A lot of times, dang, this is deep. I used to do this for my siblings. My siblings would do things, I'm the oldest, and they would get in
Mhm.
trouble. And before they could get you spanked or whatever was going to happen or punished, I would do the play by play, and my mom would call me the lawyer of the family. And I say, well, listen now, just so before you guys dig in too much, this is the kind of day he had. This is what my brother went through today. He might not have told you, but this is what
Mhm.
led him, bop, 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 bop. And then, so my thing has always been there's a why people do what they do. And as
Yeah.
soon as you can empathize or identify or maybe even see yourself in that, it becomes easier to start walking in that character's shoes. And so I feel like every character, whether they are crazy and zany, like some that I've played, or whether they're, just really 2 feet on the ground and intense and serious, there's something that got them there and there's something that's happened to them. So it's not that it's easy, but it's that once I find that moment of relatability, that's kind of how my character journey starts. And then you start playing the what if game and it becomes a little bit more natural. Sometimes you got to pull yourself back and be like, all right, this is over. I can't talk crazy like this in my life, but it's justified when you are that character, whoever it is you're portraying.
I've never asked anybody, especially a actress or actor, um, going through your cinematography, all of the things that you've done. Do you ever go back and watch those, even the older movies?
I was having this convo like earlier, maybe a week ago, not on purpose, like
Hmm.
not on purpose. It's one of those things, us artists, you're always evolving and you're always thinking about things that had you been able to do something different, oh, I would have done that, or if I had more time, or if I had more prep. And so sometimes it's like, no, I don't want to see that. I want to move on to the next thing. But every once in a while, something might pop up, or you'll get tagged in a clip, or something will come on TV, and you're like, oh shoot, oh, they're playing it on this right now. And then you let it stream. And then before you know it, you're watching and so many things you forgot
Yeah,
about, or things that maybe you were like, oh, I would have done that different. You're like, I kind of judged that harshly. I enjoyed this,
yeah.
and so not intentionally, no, I don't really go back and look at things, but every once in a while, something will come up. Like I haven't seen Angie's Cure in some time. I
Mm.
haven't seen it in some time. It was a tough piece and I needed a little bit of separation from watching it for a bit. But
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it again soon at some point.
As though I know as a producer, I go back and listen to old music and see how far I've evolved or if I've strayed away
Mhm.
from what I used to do. So that's why I asked about that because a lot of times I know sometimes we feel like we're growing and we're doing something and we're evolving and getting bigger and better,
Yeah.
and we miss that sauce, that secret sauce that we used to have back in the day. So
Yeah.
that's why I asked that question. Do
Can't
you
miss
ever feel like that?
that sauce.
Do you ever feel like you know you need to go back and get this, do this, something that you used to do in the past that
You know
worked for
what?
you?
Yeah. Sometimes not I never usually get through a project without thinking about a past project.
Hmm.
And so if I find myself overwhelmed or I find myself busy or whatever the thing is or just even in a project if I'm just kind of like, oh my goodness, the shoot is longer than I thought it was going to be, then I do remind myself, this is what you prayed for, this is what you planted seeds for, this is and so you remind yourself of the old hustle and the need and the desire, and so that usually is what combats the fatigue or the whatever it is at that moment. But no, in terms of like gumption and in terms of diving in, that's not going to change for me. It's just, I love what I do. I love what I do to the point where sometimes I'm doing too many things at once and I need to be able to make sure I build in some restoration, but
Yeah.
it doesn't stop me from basically getting it from the mud, every single time and wanting to just kind of go in and dive in.
What do you do when you finish a project? Just to
I go
chill
on
out.
vacation. I
Okay.
go somewhere. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let him out to sunbathe because my Pekingese is spoiled. One moment.
So P, what's been up, man?
Yes, sir.
We got some new music on the rise. What we got?
Oh man, I was hoping to get
Oh, you
to
back?
some music this weekend.
You're back. She's back.
Oh yeah, no, it was really quick. It's just, yeah, I've got a Frenchie and a Peak and they sing and they talk. And
Oh, okay.
so
Wow.
yeah, so that's what's going on. They're like, I know, I want to go outside and date. So anyway, I don't remember what your last question was.
Oh, he was
Of
just
just
asking, where did
you
you
taking
go?
a
Right.
vacation after you finish your movies.
And the vacation doesn't have to be anywhere extreme. I mean, I love water. Luckily, I live in LA, so I can access water. If I really need to, I can just drive and get to it. But I'll go to Mexico, I'll go to Florida, I'll visit family, but I'll try to do something after every single project so that I can recharge. And
Yeah.
it's not that much time. And sometimes the vacation starts as vacation and it ends as workation because I end
Yeah.
up writing or delving into something else. But it is important to kind of get that little brain break.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
you I'm gonna pass it to B, but I wanted to ask this one question. Do you ever take on projects from other people that I mean things that other people have written or even books?
Oh goodness, yes. So, whew, that's a twofold. So right now, speaking of biting off a lot, right now I'm currently in the middle of I'm acting in a brand new movie that is not one that I'm producing. So I get to wear one hat, which is nice for a change, and be talent. And then I'm also producing a project for a friend who is a best-selling author, and she's turning some of her work into, backdoor pilots, short films, turned features, things like that. So I'm actually on a production with her. She and I are producing. Her name's Nikki Turner. And then there's another project that I'm wrapping up on that I'm producing on, a project of a good cinematographer and director friend of mine, Erwin Miller. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I will take on projects either on the production side or on the writing side, and even on the acting side. It's so funny. People
Okay.
think, sometimes it's difficult when you are multi-hyphenate. It's like, oh, well, would you be interested in acting in something, I'm an actress first. I love what I do. I love creating characters. It's my happy space, and everything else births from that space. So because I love writing and acting, and because I started producing out of necessity, and thankful to God that He's given me these talents, I do end up being in different spaces. But oftentimes I find that I'm attracting more work. Like I might be producing over here and somebody's like, oh no, she also acts, and I get pulled in there. Or I'm writing over here. So it's one of those things where I'm sure it's the same with music. It's like whatever room you're in, people do multiple things and then they bring you in the capacity that you can be of service.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, see?
So I wanted to ask you because the movie has a very big cast, and for people that have not watched the movie stars Essence Atkins. If you don't remember her, she's from the show Half and Half. It has Jennifer Freeman from My Wife and Kids. You got Vanessa Williams, not the what was she, Miss America?
Right.
Or not that Vanessa Williams, but the Vanessa Williams from New Jack City and
Mhm.
also Soul Food. And a surprise, and me and you talked about this. If you were a fan of the movie The Wood, she brought back a lot of the characters that played in The Wood. You will see them in the movie. How did you go about getting all of the cast together?
Wow. Okay, so great question. Casting is one of those things that I feel like really makes and breaks a film. And
Mm,
I think that because we were very intentional with the characters, like how we envision them, myself and the other writers. And so it's great to be able to have a communication with the casting director that gets you and knows exactly what you're going for. So some of the roles we already knew, just reaching out just with relationships, like with Sean's character, Duane that you mentioned from The Wood. We
mm,
had a relationship with Duane, who also obviously is still really good friends with Sean. And we were like, this is actually something that we had in mind for him. So
mm.
pulling that together. And then there was Denise Boutte,
I
who
forgot Denise Boutte. Yes,
Oh,
yes, she
I thought
was
you said
in.
her. Oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, with Denise Boutte as well, knowing that she's so dynamic, and most people see her one way, and she gets to flip what she normally is like on camera on its head. So
Mhm,
having certain ideas about who you want helps, and then the rest having a really good casting director that is like, okay, I can bring in a mix of names that people are going to, have, that carry weight, and then just really strong up and coming talent. There's so much young up and coming talent in the film as well. And
mhm,
it's just having that mix. And I think that that's how we keep building each other up, as filmmakers, as people, as so we're not recycling the same faces.
right.
So it's like, look at these people that you know and are phenomenal and look at them in a new light,
Mm,
acting in roles they don't normally act in, while we get to usher in new talent. And
mm,
as an actor first, that's something that I've always appreciated with casting,
mm,
when you're dealing with a really good casting director that knows how to mix so that everybody is seamless, in the cast. And it just seems like, I don't know, it seems like everybody's been playing in the same space for a long time, even though for some people it's their first or second role.
mm.
That's dope.
I met Denise in South Carolina at a gala. She's very cool. Yeah,
She's amazing. She's so down to earth, her and her hot sauce and all her things.
yeah, she's real cool. And
Yeah.
I just happened to be scrolling, and I saw one of your posts, and you're in Highly Favored.
Yeah, I am. I'm in highly favorite. Totally different type of character. Yes.
So what's crazy is didn't even know you were in that. We had Chico Beneman on the
Oh,
show.
Chico.
Yeah, we had him on the show. What was it, last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
then that was the thing he was talking about was his show. And then I just happened to be scrolling. I saw you in a scene with him, and that's just
The world. The
yeah,
world. I know it's so
yeah,
small.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
highly favorite, fun show. Oh my gosh. It's out right now. It's streaming right now. I'm sure Chico told you all about it. But yeah, that show, I play a completely different type character. He knows me from back in the day, somewhere he can't quite place. And
Hmm.
I am currently dating his brother, who is very square, very square. I think like Carlton, or something like that. And
Gotcha.
I'm positioning myself to be a proper girl in the church because his mom is a first lady.
Mm.
and I got a little pass to me. So, needless to say, it's a fun show.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy how a lot of times we have guests on the show, and then sometimes they could be talking about a particular project or something, and then we have somebody else on the show, and we're like, "Wait, you're in there with them?" It's
Yep,
just
yep.
a 6 degrees of separation
Yes,
you see, and it's very small.
yes.
So, how did the movie Angie's Cure come about? Was it something that you had been planning? How did the thing come about as far as writing and putting that together?
Well, it is something that had been on the our minds for some time. It was written by myself, director, producer Corey Grant, and then Brian Kelsey. And what happened originally is that there was a story. It was an article that came out, true story. There was a hostage situation where there was a break-in at a shop,
Mhm.
and the woman was able to get control of the man, and the story goes dark from there, so I'm not going to go down that road. But what we did like was, that's interesting, that's an interesting event that happened. What if? And you start playing the what if game, and we did. And so what if we put a reason behind that? What if there was something, some weight that we gave to the guy that broke in? What if there's a reason that the girl had to have the moment that she had? And then we started exploring, what themes can we tie in that we really want to tackle in this story, that is it's a universal story told by Black characters, but just this story in general of what happens when trauma is unresolved, and what happens when you reach your boiling point, and then also what happens on the other side for the person that you're demonizing and what got them there. So we took a real event, created something out of it, and then it took on a life of its own as we really started saying, well, what do we want to say with this? And what other things do we want to express while we have your attention? And so mainly, our job, we got to entertain. So it's an entertaining film from beginning to end. But one thing that we knew we had to do to get both audiences is start big, start fun, start colorful. It's LA. It feels like you can feel the streets rumbling, the palm trees, the spinners, all the things
Hmm.
back in the day. And then bring in the audience to a movie that they think they're about to see. And what we realized is that most people at that point, they're hooked.
Hmm.
And then they get to see where the movie goes, which was what was really important to us without being preachy. We
Yeah.
Right.
just wanted to be able to express, this is a little bit of your aunt, your uncle, this is this cousin, this is this
Hmm.
officer you might have had a run-in with.
Hmm.
And these are the whys, and try to tie them together and have a conversation. So ultimately we said, what do we want to say and what do we want people to talk about after the movie's over? And that's how we put pen to paper, or fingers to typewriter, fingers to laptop. But yeah, that's how the script came about.
So I have a question, and then I'm sure Perion's going to want to jump in this since he's the music guy. You sent me something where the movie actually has a soundtrack.
Hmm.
So soundtracks for movies back in the day were huge. Some of the biggest
Yes,
hits came from soundtracks, and songs that we
yes,
love today came from soundtracks. And then it
yes.
seemed like as maybe 2000s, early 2000s soundtracks kind of went away.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah, but you guys actually have a soundtrack to the movie. How did that come about, and is that something that you're going to start bringing back into your movie soundtracks?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So first, our music supervisor, her name is Sheree. You might know her, Farion. Sheree she's also known as Chingy. She was with the group Love Her, toured with Cisco, did a lot. And then she turned music supervisor. Brilliant. When I say that, not just bringing in artists that we need for the field of the projects that we're going for, but also being able to create a sound. As you guys know, with independent film, you might not always have millions of dollars in your budget, or even hundreds of thousands just for music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so being able to say, I want the song that sounds like a West Coast bop that's reminiscent of this.
Yeah.
And then having a team that can produce that, and you feel like, I think I did hear the song back in the day, even if you haven't. Like, that's really, really important when you're trying to blend in a mix of songs that are being, created versus songs that you already know. So the music really important to us. I know her and her manager it's something that we're developing right now as a thing going forward. We
Mhm.
realize we've been missing that window. We've been really diligent as filmmakers about making sure we're doing what we can to maintain ownership, separating our windows, making sure that we keep the IP so that we can keep on creating and producing. But music is such a major part of what makes a film and what people remember and attribute. I know, like, one of my favorites is Love and Basketball. I probably didn't know any of them songs, but until I watched Love and Basketball, now I know all of them. It's
Yeah.
soundtrack of my life. So it's one of those things now that we're leaning into.
Mhm.
We do have a soundtrack for Angie's Tour. It's not out yet. The single just released,
Mhm.
and that's featuring Sheree as well. But yes, we are definitely wanting to lean into soundtracks with all of our projects, even with our series. Just having music, because between music and score,
Mhm.
it's a whole nother thing that I think that sometimes people overlook, but you don't know why you feel away sometimes in a movie until you realize you're associating it with the sound in a song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
So I'm gonna
music
pass it
has
to
a soul.
the music
Yeah.
guy. So I'm gonna let him take it from here with the
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, music has a soul. Um it coincides with memory. You know, a
Mhm.
lot of times when you hear a song, it'll take you back to the first time you heard it and what you were doing and what you experienced during that time. So when you have good music in a movie,
Yeah.
it takes people back to that scene, and it
Yeah.
helps people remember that whatever you're displaying to them, you know. So music comes in handy.
Yeah.
I think that's very dope, because like B said, it has been missing, and well, music has kind of been lacking because a lot of people haven't been putting a lot of thought into it. It's
Oh, yeah.
quick, whatever's
Hmm.
hot right now, go
Yeah.
ahead and throw out something like that. So whenever you're putting together a good movie and you got a good soundtrack to it, it's gonna stick in people's head.
Yeah.
And even if all they have is the music, they're gonna still see the visuals in their mind of that movie. And you keep it going for years and years and years.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's dope.
Absolutely. No, that's why
Do
I
you,
super respect what you do. When I tell you, when you look at rough cuts, before and after, and
Mhm.
and you have a team that you're dealing with just in all aspects of post-production, especially with the music and the score, you're watching two different movies by the time, it's all said and done. So it's a huge component of what makes a great movie. And so we want to lean into it and not make it an afterthought. And that's the
Yeah,
thing. But like you said, when you're trying to be on trend or, just throwing things out there, it's kind of an afterthought.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
You go into the whole project like, um, being able to capitalize off of everything. This movie is going to sell, this music is going to sell, and they're going to all be able to do
Yeah.
different things, whether they're in commercials or
Yeah.
all type of things. I wanted to ask you, like, one during like the pandemic and like even when they had the strike.
Hmm.
Were you into making skits and doing stuff like on social media? Like what did you do to keep busy during those times?
What's interesting is that I'm in all of the unions, well, most of them. I'm Writers Guild, I'm Screen Actors Guild, and Producers Guild. So the strike hit everybody very, very heavy. My partner, Corey Grant, Directors Guild, Producers Guild, Writers Guild. So many things you can't do, which is, I know why you brought up like skits. So it was a thing of making sure that you're connecting with other artists, reading over each other's work, planning things for like when you're able to get back. Luckily, a lot of the projects that are already written, you can still kind of be making plans on things like that because the rules were
Mhm.
you couldn't be creating under the strike, you couldn't create something brand new under the guild while the guild was on strike. So also we were during the strike, unfortunately and fortunately, it was around the time we were wrapping up Angie's Cure, and then the festivals were going to come out. So then it was a matter of we got to wait till SAG's done striking so that we can feel good about
Yeah.
premiering. And so it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time. So I didn't do skits so much, but I was definitely active with a lot of actors, workshopping different things,
Mhm.
talking through their ideas, coming up with shorts and things that we wanted to do directly out
Mhm.
of the strikes. So yeah, that's what I was doing. I was busy. I was I
Wonderful.
was busy and then planning on promoting because pretty much right as the strikes were finishing, we were able to get out and then do the Dances with Films Festival,
Okay.
for Angie's Cure, and then get the artists to come out. And that was the time too, because people were slowly coming back, like, okay, it's okay, we can all be here now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's hard when you are independent to put so much time and work and effort into something and then have to pause in solidarity
Mhm.
with everything that's going on and
Yeah,
still maintain the excitement about your
yeah,
project when you are able to
yeah,
finally get it out. But yeah, so it was a blessing in disguise because we were able to forego a lot of bad deals that were happening right
yeah,
after the strike, where people were just giving away their product and not keeping their ownership. We were able to strategically think when we come out of this, how do we want to release? How do
yeah,
we want to make sure we do this window first and then release over here and then release here so that we can recoup investment and be able to keep on building and leveling up with every project. So the strikes were like a strategizing session
yeah, for sure.
for most people. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be sharp with it.
Yeah,
The,
you got to. You got to. Yes, they hit.
are there any movies out that you like that inspire you? Say, well, you may see a movie and say, I would like to do a project like this,
Mm.
not to mimic what they're doing, but just the.
For sure. Um, I would say I can't think of a movie that comes right to mind, but I do have a series that
Mhm.
I'm like, yes, it's one of those where I talk back to the screen.
Okay,
And it's Studio. I don't know
okay,
if you guys have the Studio with Seth it's on Apple, but it's
okay.
basically talking about Hollywood. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
I've never
The
seen it.
writing, the gotta watch it. Like it's one of those where it's very similar to the style, to the comedy, to the movement that I
yeah,
like to see.
okay,
And it's something where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Hollywood making fun of Hollywood. And
okay.
so just all the different people, the people that are kissing butt, the people that are, just doing way too much, the people that get a job and then get a big head and lose it all. And
Yeah,
so it's just that's something that I look at and I'm like, that's the kind of character development that I like. I like to write a lot of comedy and I love to act in a lot of comedy as well. So even when there's a drama, there's always, even in Angie's Cure, there's
mhm,
moments that are like infused,
yeah.
infused comedy here, a little bit of relief, and then we're back. So that's one. That's one currently. I'm trying to think if there's another movie that I enjoyed what Sinners did.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the fact that much like Get Out, it just re-established that there is a market, especially like Black horror
Mhm.
as well. There's a project that we're probably going to be doing very, very soon. And it's been one that, interestingly enough, we knew was going to do well years ago when
Yeah.
studios are telling you, I don't know. I don't know if there's a market for that. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
everybody's like, this is this is the wave. And
Yeah.
so,
It's
yeah.
like doing country music right now.
Mhm.
And then you got people that are like, hello, I've been doing country, as an African American person all these years, and now this is a
Yeah, yeah.
so
That and I'm from Florida. You mentioned Florida earlier. I wanted to, pump it up, but um Southern soul music
mm,
down there in the Gulf Coast is
mm,
real big, and now it's making a big thing like the boots on the ground and the fan song and stuff. It's good to see music like that expanding and being recognized now.
yeah. And I'm
Have
from
you?
DC. I feel like that about, go-go when go-go had its moment and everybody was learning what Beat Your Feet meant and the sounds of, it sounds like you're banging on a trash can lid, but you can't help but dance.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's music.
Is-
It reps where you're from too, just even the sound of it.
have you gotten into AI? using that infusing that in your work?
Oh God, no. Well, I'll say this. I'm not anti-AI, but
Hmm.
I don't think that that AI should ever be a substitution for creativity. And I'm not speaking on music because I don't really,
Hmm.
that's not my lane per se, but in
Yeah.
terms of just writing and in terms of AI can be great for maybe like helping with a pitch deck once you've already got everything laid out and you say, make this prettier, make this sound better. It's kind of like a cleanup tool. I can see it like that. And then in terms of visual effects,
Yeah.
sometimes not even sometimes, I am a fan of the fact that AI can expand the world at a more accessible rate. It used to cost so much
Yeah.
for every single effect
Yeah.
that you wanted to have in your film. And so now you can kind of put a couple of command prompts in, and we've got a sci-fi coming out really soon called Athena. And it's we of course we did it before AI was big, but the film happens to be about an AI that takes
Yeah.
over. But
That's
it
good.
is nice to know that again for independent filmmakers, you don't always have the biggest budget. So it's nice that AI can help in those areas. But in terms of like writing, no, because AI just pulls from other works that other people have done. And I just feel like as an artist, it's a slap to
Yeah.
use AI to create. I think
Yeah.
AI is like a helping hand. Make
The
what I
crutch.
created look
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
What
running out of
about animation? I'm
Hold
sorry.
on. I was going to say we're running out of time. We have a short amount of time left. So before Annette gets out of here, I just wanted to plug where can everybody follow her and find her and find
Yes.
you.
I'm actually so glad you asked that. So thank you for saying that. I'm actress Lanett. Actress Lanett. I just started my new social media account on IG because hackers can't keep you down. So find me at actress Lanett on Instagram. And in terms of the movie, angiescure.com has all of the information. It's currently streaming on Tubi. After Tubi, we're going to be in Roku. And then we're going to go to All Black AMC and then a couple more platforms that I can't say yet because we got to wait till it's final. But right now, check it out. Help us stay in the #1 spots. Help us to stay trending. It's definitely a movie that I promise you think you're signing up for one thing and you get a lot. You get a lot more than what you bargained for.
That's dope.
Okay. Anything else you want to plug? We got a little over a minute left.
Okay, check out also our company website, newbreedentertainment.org. Myself, my partner, Corey Grant, and our production company, New Breed Entertainment, along with Boutte Pratt. We've got a lot of things coming out in the works, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also in a movie that I'm actually about to go to set to right now. So that'll be coming out, Adopted 2, another movie that I'm a talent in. I'm not producing on. I get to wear one hat. Hallelujah. Those are all of the things that and I'm producing 2 other projects. So just follow me on Actress Lanett and I'm gonna keep you engaged and reach out to me. I'll always respond. And yeah, you'll see where we go.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the show. We really appreciate it. We want to have you back to promote anything else that you have going on. Perry on, have a great day, my brother. Always
You too,
glad to
bro.
have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great
All
day,
right.
everyone.